I want to be able to spend time with my kid, raise my child, not have to work countless hours and multiple jobs to pay my student loans off. It's just really hard. I have days where I'm motivated to work as hard as I can, to try to make as much money as I can. And then I have days where I'm like, none of that matters now, because I want to spend time with my child. So it's really hard and just being like fully transparent with how much debt I have, and one day it will be gone, but I don't want to be old when it's gone. I want to be young and still be able to have fun and enjoy it.
I've been making student loan payments for almost 14 years. Now, I went to pharmacy school. I'm a pharmacist. That's a doctorate degree. It took 6 years. So my education, even with the scholarship, cost still like $250,000, roughly. When I got my first student loan bill in the mail, well, I almost brick, but my balance was like right around $125,000. 165 monthly payments on $125,000. How much do you think I still owe?
Healthcare workers have some of the highest student loans, and they're not going to be able to pay them back with their wages, because that's another thing. We're underpaid. Resident doctors start out making $60,000 a year. I was offered last year a position for $32 an hour as a highly accredited, highly specialized nurse. Those wages could have not met what my student loan burden would be after this kicks in.
I am a physician assistant, and I graduated PA school with $260,000 of debt.
Damn!
I know. Ridiculous. So that is combined with my undergrad. From undergrad, I had about $100,000 of debt, and then in PA school, I accumulated another $160,000. And granted, yes, I was very irresponsible looking back. I took out the maximum amount of student loan money that they would let us live off of. They would give you an allotted sum each quarter to pay rent, pay for groceries, and I was living large. I thought that money was just free money to me. I even went on a cruise during PA school with my friends. Obviously wouldn't regret and take back any of that, because I had the time of my life. Let me tell you, I loved PA school. I loved the friends I met. I loved the school I went to. I lived in Portland, Maine for 2 years. It was amazing.
It was worth it.
But again, could I have been more responsible? Yes. Trying to pay down this debt, I've been a PA going on 8 years now. So I have paid down my debt significantly from $260 to $150. But the $150 still hanging over my head just seems nearly impossible and never ending to go away. I go back and forth between, do I want to live very frugally and lock myself up, not do anything fun, and just pay down as much debt as I can? Or do I want to continue to live my life and enjoy all the moments that I have in my early 30s right now? And again, in my 20s, I enjoyed every bit of my life. I have a 4-month-old now, so I'm starting a family. I plan to have more kids. It's just like the burden of student loans. I can cry. You feel lost, but I think TikTok's helped me gauge that I'm not the only one in this kind of student loan debt. I wish I made more money, and I wish I could work multiple jobs, but that's just not feasible to my lifestyle now with a kid. It's crazy how when you're young, you're like, I'm gonna be a girl boss. I'm gonna have a badass career. I wanna work my ass off, and no kid's stopping me from, not having that career in my future. But then you have a kid, and everything changes. I want to be able to spend time with my kid, raise my child, not have to work countless hours and multiple jobs to pay my student loans off. It's just really hard. I have days where I'm motivated to work as hard as I can, to try to make as much money as I can. And then I have days where I'm like, none of that matters now, because I want to spend time with my child. So it's really hard and just being like fully transparent with how much debt I have, and one day it will be gone, but I don't want to be old when it's gone. I want to be young and still be able to have fun and enjoy it. So I'm sure a lot of people can relate on here to the student loan debt crisis and not making enough salary wise to be able to pay off your debt quickly. In the next 5 years I can pay another $150 off, but who knows what's going to happen in the next 5 years.
If you're a PA or if you're in any career field that has a high income, advanced nurse, physician assistants, medical doctors, pharmacists, you name it, and these are all medical fields. So let's just say attorneys, engineers, computer programmers, etc. You should make enough income to be able to pay off your student loans. But one of the biggest reasons why people are struggling to pay them off is because of the fact that programs cost so much money. Now you might ask, why do programs cost so much money? Now, yes, some of these programs are doctorate programs and they take many years to complete. So you would expect to have a certain level of debt associated with it if you can't pay for it out of pocket. But the big reason why these programs cost so much is because these schools, colleges, universities, whatever, they know that the federal government is providing loans. And because these loans are so easy to get for students, 17, 18, 20, 19-year-old, these universities increase the cost of their tuition because they know that people are going to get loans to pay for it because it's so easily handed out by the government. That's the real reason. So she didn't make a bad decision going to school to get a degree and went to get a degree in underwater basket weaving, which is not going to get her any job when she graduates. She went to get a degree in something that's very, very marketable. The issue is when she graduated, she has this huge amount of student loan debt thanks to these expensive programs that are way too expensive, and now she has to make a decision. Honestly, for someone in her position, I would suggest the Dave Ramsey method. She just had a 4-month-old baby. I think she should read Dave Ramsey's book. I'm not sponsored by Dave Ramsey, obviously, but
I'll take cash a check.
The Total Money Makeover, I read that book, and I think if her and her husband I'm assuming she has a husband, read the book and they combine their forces to pay the rest of her debt down or whatever debt he might have, they can get it done quickly and then have all this disposable income now to enjoy life with their new baby and the babies they're gonna have. So she made a question. She said, do I want to reduce my lifestyle and pay this debt off? I think yes. The answer to that should be yes. Short-term sacrifice, short-term pain for long-term pleasure. As he says, again, I'm quoting Dave Ramsey, live now like no one else so that later you can live like no one else. So everyone else is traveling, having fun, getting expensive car loans, taking crazy vacations, buckle down, live on beans and rice. I'm really just stealing all this stuff.
Becky's on Twitter. Do you literally mean beans and rice, or is that an exaggeration to make a point? Of course not. It means lower your stupid butt lifestyle and quit spending money like you're in Congress is what it means. It means quit going out to eat. You're broke. It means quit buying the most expensive thing at Whole Paycheck over there. Get your dadgum coupons out and have a meal plan and actually cook from scratch because it saves money. And don't go on vacation. You're broke. And don't buy that. You're broke. You have clothes in your closet. Stay out of the mall. Live on less than you make. That's what it means.
And pay off your debt. And then after that, you have all this money because she earns a good income. You have all this money to use to do all the things you want to do that right now you're worried about because this debt is looming over your head.
Last night I had to log into my student loan account to print out the paperwork to have my taxes done today. So I got to get a glimpse of my student loan balance for the first time in, I don't know, presumably a year. I honestly don't remember knowing what I owed still.
Now, really quickly, that's already a red flag. I'm assuming she has autopay set up, but even with autopay set up, you should be periodically checking in to see what your balance is, not waiting for 10 years or 14 years, however long she said, to log in and see your balance. But that's just me.
Point of reference, I graduated in 2011. Okay, so I've been making student loan payments for almost 14 years. I actually did the math. It was about 165 monthly student loan payments that I've made so far. Now, I went to pharmacy school. I'm a pharmacist. That's a doctorate degree. It took 6 years. So my education, even with the scholarship, cost still like $250,000, roughly. When I got my first student loan bill in the mail, well, I almost shit a brick, but my balance was like right around $125,000. 165 monthly payments on $125,000. How much do you think I still owe?
A lot. Like, a lot.
$78,000. Yeah, I don't know. The math isn't mathing. Now, full disclosure, I did refinance at some point, which is a horrible idea. Like at the time, it seems like a good idea because the monthly payments are so like overwhelming, but in the long run, you're screwing yourself. So 165 monthly payments. I never deferred it. I never missed a payment, and I still owe $78,000. And I've been out of school for 14 years. My oldest turns 10 next week. So realistically, if she decides to go to college, I'm going to be still paying my student loans and likely still owe like $30-some thousand on my student loans when I'm trying to figure out how to pay for her college. And I don't know what the solution is to this whole situation. I don't think loan forgiveness is fair. I don't think taxpayers who didn't go to college should have to have their tax money pay off the student loans for those who did choose to go to college. I don't think that's fair at all. But I do think something needs to be done because universities are charging like obscene tuition. Student loan companies are doing predatory lending to children and setting up people for like a a lifetime of debt. Like, you're starting out your adult life with like crippling debt. And I don't know what the solution is here, but something isn't working.
There seems to be predatory lending. It really does. And there seems to be the issue is that institutions are charging way too much for these programs. And again, I just explained why that's the case a second ago. So with that being said, she's asking, what is the solution? Well, there are a few different small solutions that can be done. Number one, make sure that you go to school for a degree that's going to get you a good return on investment. And that's the point of this video. There are a lot of these people that we're covering today went to school for degrees and professions that are in demand, that pay good money, and that are very beneficial to society. Pharmacists, physician's assistants. We're going to talk about nurses in a second. And again, there's attorneys, there's doctors, there's engineers. There are many different people that go to school to get these valuable degrees that come out with tons of debt. And so what's the solution? Well, one of the solutions is when you're an undergrad to go to a 2-year school first and then transfer to a 4-year school. One of the solutions is to go to state schools instead of private schools. One of the solutions is to work your way through school and have a little bit less time partying and having fun while you're in college. I know college is partly about the experience and creating bonds and memories with your friends, but to be honest, while you can still do some of that, you should also be working, if you can, while you're in school to offset some of the loans and so you can take fewer loans. Some of these are the ways you can offset and that can solve the problem. That being said, I do wonder how much of it was her just not paying attention to her loans, because with a pharmacy degree, I mean, she makes decent money. Before she had kids, I'm assuming she didn't have kids when she first graduated. That's a time where, in my philosophy, you should not increase your lifestyle. You should not increase your expenses. You should continue living as if you're a college student, or even worse. Don't upgrade where you live. Continue to live with roommates or live in an inexpensive place in a hole in the wall if you have to. Don't upgrade your car. Don't upgrade your clothes. Take a few vacations. Don't go out to fancy restaurants. Essentially live way below your means, even though your income just increased by a lot. And then within those 1, 2, 3 to 5 years, however long that is, be extreme about it. Get extreme and pay off the debt as fast as possible, because that way, after that 5 years or 4 years or 7 years, however long it takes, maybe not 7, let's say 1 to 5, let's say 5 years on average, you will knock out the student loans, or at least most of it, and then now you're earning this high income you can use to enjoy your life. You're still young. I don't understand why people graduate, and I guess because they've been in school so long, toiling away at these books and studying and going to labs and classes. I get it. I was there. I'm sure a lot of you were there. You're just kind of over it. You want to go get to your life. So that's probably part of it, but I think if people could just discipline themselves a little bit longer, to just keep their head down a little bit longer, to keep working and keep living as if they were students with this new high income, they would be thankful in the near future, because now they have this disposable income that's not going to paying student loans, and now you can use that to do all sorts of things.
What happens to our healthcare system after this student loan thing kicks in? Truly. Because I can name on one hand the amount of nurses I know that have never taken out student loans. I know older nurses that I have worked with who have paid them off, and a lot of the times the older nurses are the ones who took the 2-year route and then eventually got their BSN. But they could start out as 2 years. I haven't worked with an associate's nurse. I'm a hematology, oncology, bone marrow transplant, Roche trained, CAR T, you name it, oncology, chemotherapy, I've done it. In order to work at the hospitals I work at, you have to have a BSN. And honestly, I became a nurse in 2020. The AA degree that you can get in nursing, it's obsolete. What happens to our hospitals after this? The doctors that I have worked alongside with have over $500,000 worth of student loans. I know nurse practitioners with $250,000 because that's what it costs to get an advanced degree. And then your healthcare workers are going bankrupt. What happens to our hospital systems then? Is no one paying attention to that? Healthcare workers have some of the highest student loans, and they're not going to be able to pay them back with their wages, because that's another thing. We're underpaid. We're underpaid. Resident doctors start out making $60,000 a year. I was offered last year a position for $32 an hour as a highly accredited, highly specialized nurse. Those wages could have not met what my student loan burden would be after this kicks in. I mean, what are we doing? We're going to literally crash our healthcare system through doing this. Like, you would think it'd be something else, but no. It's not pulling NIH research. It's not pulling the medicine. It's not ruining Medicare, Medicaid. No. It's going to be the fact that your healthcare workers are going to go bankrupt and have to find elsewhere to work because they're not going to be able to make ends meet. I mean, come on, people.
Specifically, what she's talking about, that we're going to talk about, is the new 15% wage garnishment on people that are in default for student loans. Not just that, just the student loan crisis in general, especially as it relates to healthcare workers. But like I said before, any high-paying fields. But see, the reason that healthcare workers in particular are hit hardest by this is because they have the most school. So other high-earning fields, take CS, for example, computer science. That's a 4-year degree, right? That's a 4-year degree. So as opposed to, let's say you become a medical doctor, you're in school for what, 8, 10 years? If you include residency, or if you're an advanced nurse, that's at least 6 years. If you take undergrad plus your 2 years or plus of your advanced nurse training, or if you're a physician assistant, or if you're same idea, if you're a physical therapist. So that's why these healthcare workers are hit harder than, say, some of the other higher earning fields when it comes to student loans. Another thing is they are underpaid. CS workers now, again, right now, there's a lot of layoffs happening in the tech field, and it's much, much more difficult to get a job in the technology field in IT than it was before, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago. But the point is, those fields tend to pay even a little bit better than when it comes to an advanced nurse like her, that has a lot of experience and a lot of cross training. She's like talking about getting an offer of $64,000 a year in Denver, which a computer science person might get double that. So it is true that they're underpaid. So it's just a double whammy. But she makes a good point. Like, when are we going to start to take care of the people that take care of us? You know what I mean? These are literally healthcare people that take care of me, take care of you, take care of your parents, take care of your siblings, take care of your children. So we have to start helping people in society that take care of us. Not to say they're more important than anyone else, but we can't just continue to treat them like they're not important. So something has to be done with the system because, again, it's a holistic thing. It's not just one issue. It's multiple. It's a multifactorial issue. It's the federal government who was trying to do a good thing with providing federal loans, which inadvertently made it to where it was too liquid, so the loans were just free flowing, and then the colleges who were greedy, so they should really be blamed, started jacking up the prices of their programs. Not to mention, with all these new loans, it is supply and demand, so you can blame the colleges at the same time. There's a much bigger supply of students. What does that mean? More demand for degrees? Well, prices go up. There's also to be blame placed on students who go to school to get degrees that don't earn money. Not in this case, these people went to school for degrees that do earn money, but a lot of people go to school for degrees that don't earn money or that don't earn high incomes. Then they get out into the real world, can't get a job or get underpaid job or a job that's not in their career field, and now they're struggling. So it's a mess. But it's unfortunate to see folks who, I will say, did the right thing. Again, I'm not trying to say they're better than anyone else. It's just they made maybe a smart decision. You could argue, but maybe you say maybe they didn't. You could say because they're struggling with student loans, right? So you can see two sides of the coin, but they made a decision to go get careers that are beneficial to society and that should pay them well, but they're still struggling to pay for their life, pay for their kids, pay for their lifestyle. So like I said, for me personally, I know it might be easy for me to say as a single guy to be like, oh, just keep your head down and work hard for a certain amount of years and then pay off your student loans and go live your life. Maybe some people aren't that blessed. Maybe they come from situations where they have to do certain things that rack up more debt to them. Point is, people are struggling with student loans, even people that are employees that are making high incomes. And there are different solutions to the problem. It just depends on who you are and what solution you want to choose. But with that being said, I really appreciate you all for sticking around and watching the video. If you liked it, feel free to give it a like and to subscribe if you feel so too inclined, because it helps the algorithm and I would greatly appreciate it. And until next time, make smart financial decisions.